Gen Z struggles so much with their social lives and talking to other people. I think a lot of people don't understand why we do. Even I think like Gen Z themselves may not understand why it's like that. But anyways, we'll just get straight into it. I'd say the first thing that really affected it is just like growing up, we were the age of tech. I understand that kids in the 90s or whatever were kind of getting into it, like it was definitely a thing, but it was like that was what most of our childhoods were based around. Now, like I can't even imagine what the next generation of kids are going to go through with this, because they're now like, it's not even like real content that they're watching anymore, or like the video games they're playing and stuff. It's like not as good of quality. So I genuinely do think like brain rot actually like rots the brain. Like I think it's rot. But yeah, I mean, like, I think it's pretty obvious when I say this, but growing up, you know, we were always on the game, dude. Like, I feel like most people, the best and the most common interactions that you got were at school. And other than that, you would come home and you just had, like, your parents or whatever, and then you probably just playing video games. And I mean, another thing, too, previous generations, they always had to call or they had to, like, actually see each other to have social interaction. Nowadays, we call still. That's all we do. I don't think it's super common that people always meet up all the time, you know what I mean? I meet up with my friends all the time, but like sometimes it's like pulling teeth, you know? A lot of the time people just want to like jump in calls and stuff, and I'm kind of blessed that I have a friend group that's like willing to go with the teeth pulling in a way and like setting up stuff, but sometimes it's easier to just set up a Discord call or just call your friend. So people back then did not do that. I would say something that like a lot of people don't think about either, and something that I'm now thinking about too. I was just so afraid of strangers when I was younger. Like I never wanted to go and talk to random people unless my mom was like right beside me watching me or knew exactly where I was. Like even in the store, I was so scared to talk to other adults because I was just taught at a young age, and I think most Gen Z were, and rightfully so, because the world is really scary. But like we were all just made aware of like all this horrible stuff that people were capable of at such a young age. And I really don't think that people realize the kind of negative that comes with that. Yes, kids are smart and they're safer, but what do you mean not every adult is safe? You know, and I feel like it did build like this weird social dynamic where it's like, yeah, I'll talk to you, like especially when we got older, like I'll talk to people, but like I don't trust you till I've like talked to you for a while. And I think it just builds like this weird like social protective layer. I feel like most of us know where this is going. Cyberbullying and like kind of how serious cyberbullying gets. I'm gonna be so honest, and I know like it's kind of a meme. I'll probably pop a couple of those on screen just so you see, but like cyberbullying gets really serious, and I guess this kind of goes into a lot of other fears that we have. But you know, being bullied at school and then coming home and not being able to get away from the bullying, cyberbullying now can turn into actual illegal like harassment and tracking people's locations and stuff. And I mean, obviously, there's social media in general, just outside of bullying. Social media is also a big thing. You know, you compare yourself all the time, so you just kind of feel like a chud. So yeah, you're not going to talk to people because you feel like a chud. Social media has a big play in that. And bullying in general, it's just completely changed. And I don't think that like adults in school systems in general understand how big of an issue and kind of the weird new version of bullying, especially like with social standards and stuff. I don't know, like I'm sure it's not special or unique to Gen Z, and this might just be it's always just weird like in general when I think that there are just like social groups that are formed around like popularity, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like there are people at my school I would never talk to, and I just like automatically have a distaste to just because of the friend groups that they're in, and that's just like where they landed. And I feel like they have the same feeling towards me, even if they don't, you know, obviously say it to my face, just like I wouldn't say it to them. But it's like just the way that social groups are set up, they're almost guaranteed to have like this bullying or like antagonistic dynamic in the modern school system, at least like in America. I just feel like everything is always antagonistic and weird. And I know that sounds like a movie where it's like jocks and band kids or like art kids or nerds or whatever, but I feel like it is a genuine thing that people don't acknowledge enough. And I don't think that it's a movie trope. I do think that like there are just different kinds of people. It definitely does not create a good social environment for a new generation. And yes, COVID. Now listen, everything that I've brought up is really like the big things to blame, but like just to give you a snapshot of my COVID, I was literally waking up at like 4 in the afternoon at peak. I mean, give it a couple months into COVID, I was doing this, but like at peak, I'm waking up at like 4 in the afternoon. I am completely shutted out. I am playing video games all day, eating literally just like Pop-Tarts and cereal. And like pretty much I didn't do schoolwork, and this is the same for everyone. You didn't do schoolwork. Even if you were older, like you didn't work normally, and if you did, it really was not as much. You had to social distance if you went in public, you know? I remember when COVID ended, the actual anxiety I got so bad that I would literally go into the bathroom if I went to a McDonald's and just like cry for a second. Like, I know that sounds pathetic and that's like a little bit dark for what this video kind of is, but it's like screws with people being like indoors for that long and only like seeing pretty much just your family. And I mean, I think it goes without saying that leaves permanent, or like not permanent, but like long-term kind of issues, like social skills for younger people, you know? I'm a young adult now, and I can tell you the way that I handle social situations and the way that I see older people handle social situations are different. It just kind of depends on which generation you're talking to. But either way, love y'all, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.